Well, also tonight, pushback from our neighbors up north. Canadians are expressing their anger with the Trump administration's tariffs and talk of that country becoming the 51st state. There are boycotts and boos. And that includes Canadian fans who didn't hold back this past weekend during the national anthem ahead of the NHL's Four Nations face-off. Listen.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed?
Usually go over shopping and whatnot, but that's going to change.
Trump's pulling his moves? Absolutely, positively not. I just hope that the Canadian government bully him right back, because that's all he's doing.
It's just absurd. I mean, we're his biggest trading partner.
Well, as you heard there, plenty of Canadians say they don't even want to come to the U.S. as retaliation to the tariffs from President Trump on Canadian goods and products, on top of his desire that it become the 51st state. Niagara Falls, Ontario Mayor Jim Diodati joins us live tonight. Mayor, you're always kind to share your time with us. Unfortunately, we're often talking about sticky subjects between our two countries and our two regions, but I wonder if we could just start here before we discuss the impact of this potential boycott. What are you hearing from Canadians?
I think more than anything, Michael, people feel hurt by the comments of the president. You know, we know that we've been allies for hundreds of years. We fought and died side by side on world conflicts and wars. You know, we're $1.3 trillion in two-way trade. We're each other's number one trading partner by far. And for people to hear the comment, you know, of wanting to annex Canada, it's hurtful. And I think that's how people are taking it right now. And I think more than anything, they're just hurt. And the Canadians know this isn't the American people. This isn't the USA. This is politics. These are politicians making these kind of comments. And also they understand that President Trump is very mercurial, and sometimes it's his effective way of negotiating. And we understand that. But still, some people are a little bit hurt by some of his comments.
Southern Ontario and Western New York are so interconnected, especially our economies. It's early to fully quantify what this boycott could mean, but we are getting some sort of initial signs. I want to share with our viewers and you this report from CTV News.
Airlines across the country say travelers are canceling flights and changing winter travel plans. WestJet says travel to the U.S. dropped 25% in 2 weeks, while Air Canada is reducing the amount of flights to American leisure destinations beginning in March.
One of our tour operators reported 30% in cancellations, like almost immediately.
The United States Travel Association says even a 10% drop in Canadian tourism could cost U.S. businesses over $2 billion.
That's only a 10% drop. Mayor, do you see this boycott turning into something significant that could hurt our economy here?
Well, I unfortunately, you know, people are reacting the only way that they can, and they're just staying home. And as I mentioned earlier, people felt hurt. And I had one woman at the supermarket say to me, you know, because of President Trump's comments, I don't feel welcome in the U.S. I think I'm going to take a break for a while. And it's not that anyone's trying to be mean or harmful or hurtful. They're just not feeling welcome, kind of like visiting someone else's home. And you don't want to go there if you don't feel welcome. And I think that's the reaction right now. I think it's a little emotional, a little bit reactionary. I mean, we go back way too far for this to be a long-term thing. I don't believe people will do this long-term, but right now it's the only thing they know to do is just to stay home.
Finally, Mayor, we were showing some video there while you're talking of some of the local businesses in Western New York that could feel the impact of reciprocal tariffs back and forth, right? We know that the tariffs, specifically the 25% tariff on Canada, has been postponed. It was postponed for a month. As these negotiations are continuing, do you think that the tariffs are actually going to go into effect, or do you think the government in the U.S. and the government in Canada can come to an agreement and avoid that? Because most people believe it could be really bad for both of us.
I think I have a lot of hope. I'm a very optimistic and positive kind of person, and I do believe if they sit down at the table, we are going to negotiate something. I think maybe this is part of the president's negotiation style. I mean, if you look back in history, just to 1930, when President Hoover brought in 20% tariffs, it was devastating to the economies of Canada and the U.S., and it dragged the U.S. from a recession into the Great Depression. So I'm very hopeful and optimistic that they are going to come up with some solution, because let's face it, tariffs are taxes that hurt everybody. Nobody wins in a tariff war. The cost of gas, cars, groceries, everything will go up on the Canadian and the U.S. side of the border. There's no good reason to do this. I believe calmer heads will prevail, and we're going to continue as we have for hundreds of years as each other's greatest friends.
And we'll know for sure within the next couple of weeks. We'll keep everybody posted. Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati, thanks so much, sir. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Michael.